Welcome everybody to Stay Real Podcast. I'm your host GD, and I am so excited to start this very first podcast with you guys. On this podcast, we're going to be talking about the TV shows, we're going to be talking about movies, and occasionally books. And over time, as this progresses, as we go further into this, we're going to talk about different other things. We will occasionally throw in some live podcast moments where I get to interact with you guys. The more and more followers I get. Right now, I'm just doing everything pretty much on a laptop, using a laptop camera and a laptop microphone. So it's probably not going to be the best quality, but hey, we all got to start somewhere. With time, I do hope to get the microphone that I really want. Something basic, nothing too expensive. I've seen some pretty cheap ones that I'm pretty much saving my money up for at this point in time. And then from there, going ahead and eventually getting an actual camera that's going to look a little bit better. And probably not use this sheet that's behind me. So, let's get started. We'll be talking about Scooby-Doo. Now, I love Scooby-Doo. Grew up watching Scooby-Doo, like the old school show, when it was the Mystery Gang, and then when it was Scrappy-Doo in there, and then, they had those spin-offs. Then you gotta love those movies. Now, the one in particular I'm talking about, though, is one that really broke the spectrum of the original idea of Scooby-Doo. And I'm talking about Scooby-Doo on Zombie Island. Yeah. Love that movie. And when I say it broke the spectrum to what Scooby-Doo originally was, I mean, when you think of Scooby-Doo, you think of a bad guy or a bad person in a mask, or pretending to be a zombie, pretending to be a ghost, pretending to be whatever, trying to scare off people to get to from this place so they can get whatever they want. That's hidden there. And so we kind of get that generalization of Scooby-Doo. Zombie Island, you actually see real monsters. You see real zombies. No, we're not going to talk about that movie. Doesn't count. I'm talking about, this was the first one. This movie came out already having, before its time in the sense. This came out way before the Scooby-Doo live action movie with Freddie Prinze Jr. and Sarah Michelle Gellar. So this movie was great, and there are a lot of great voice actors in this movie as well. And we'll actually get further into it the more we talk about it. As I said earlier, you're going to be hearing that kind of like a white noise underneath. I apologize if you guys are getting annoyed by it, but again, this is just crappy quality. Hopefully here soon in the next couple weeks I'll be getting a new mic, or an actual mic. So let's go ahead and get started into the show, into the movie. Go ahead and just kind of watch right down here, or wherever I ended up putting it at. Probably down here. I'll be putting some clips, really small, quick clips of the movie, and pretty much hitting the highlights of everything. I did take notes because I wanted to see, I wanted you guys to hear some of the big points that I wanted to put into this movie. So let's go ahead and get started. So we actually get started with this whole dark, ominous theme entrance that they do at the beginning of the movie. You have the whole lightning, storm cloud, rain coming down, and this big spooky castle in the background. Gotta love the classics. Gotta love the cliche. And then it just kind of builds up. You're traveling through the castle, finally getting to see the Mystery Gang. Yes, so we see Fred Jones, we see Scooby-Doo, Velma, Daphne, Shaggy. And so from there, they kind of do this great transition into the classic Scooby-Doo theme song and the classic, Scooby-Doo running around, going from one door and then popping out the other and doing all that great stuff you got to enjoy. And then from there, you just kind of you kind of just enjoy that whole little segment. And of course, naturally, it goes into the most cliched Scooby thing, where they end up causing some sort of ruckus. They end up their plan backfires, but then the plan ends up working a different way to where they end up catching the bad guy, and they reveal bad guy in a mask. And then from there, it transitions to now it's been some time, and the gang just kind of went their separate ways. They don't really say how long it's been since they saw each other. They don't really go further into it, other than the fact that, now you see Fred and Daphne together doing a TV show type of deal where they're recording, ghosts and stuff like that, like hauntings, and we see them in this talk show place, and then from there, you kind of see, I guess they can be there. Then we get to see Shaggy and Scooby working security at an airport. Now, I find this hilarious, because it's weird. You wouldn't think that they would be security material, but then who else would be able to find food being snuck into luggage? I can't tell you how many times I've had to sneak in food through luggage, not through airports, at least once or twice, but just whenever I travel, because everywhere I went, usually I had to travel from Vegas to El Paso, and my family always told me bring some certain foods from El Paso back to Vegas, so my luggage always had food. So I would hate to have Shaggy and Scooby be the ones that find that food. Then they immediately go to take the contraband item to the contraband room, and it seems like it's the first time they've ever been there. So it just makes me wonder, how long have they been working here? And for starters, why would they do this? Why would they hire these people? Come on. And then you see Velma, who's working at a bookstore, and you just gotta love it. I mean, very nerdy. Velma, of course, would naturally own not only just a regular bookstore, like a mystery bookstore. Then Fred turns around and starts, calls up Velma, and then he calls up Shaggy and Scooby after they just got let go. I have to wonder how many jobs Shaggy and Scooby worked, because Shaggy turned around and said, well, looks like we're out of the gig again. So were they referencing when they left, when everyone split up from the mystery gang, or have there been other jobs in between? And if so, how many? And I do also want to point out, let's give it up for Billy West, who voices Shaggy Rogers in this movie. Billy West also voiced a lot of your favorite childhood characters from shows like Doug, Cat Dog, stuff like that. He played as Doug. He also played as what's it called? The bully from Doug. He also played the mouse from Cat Dog, and countless others. So we gotta give him a round of applause for coming in, playing Shaggy the way he did, and it was great Shaggy. And then we get into Fred calling them, and I have to ask, how does Fred know the office phone number? How did he track them down that well? That really shows how much of a great detective they are. So that's where that comes into play. Then Fred picks up the gang, and boom, they surprise Daphne. Awesome. How she forgets her birthday, I don't know. I am still on top of my birthday. Excited because it's got 2 months away, almost. And then it's the great reunion, and they show the mystery van. You're like, yes, Mystery Sheen is back. They also bring back Scooby snacks, but of freaking course they turn around and make them stale. Wow, that's been a while now that they have stale Scooby snacks. Come on. I wanted to see some real Scooby snacks. Breaks my heart. But now we transition, and now they're going across Louisiana. I want to talk about the soundtrack for a minute here. The soundtrack in this movie is insanely good. It's just the two songs that really pop out the most. And due to copyright reasons, I'm not going to be able to mention it too much of it. But you got to give it up to the soundtrack in this whole movie. It just hits hard. as a kid, you're just like, yeah, we weren't ready for that. We were not ready for those songs whatsoever as kids. Like, I feel like those songs just flew right over our heads, and it's a shame, really. But let's give it up for those songs, especially when you start off with this particular song, and you start off with the first song, and you just see the montage of like classic Scooby Doo, bad guy in a mask. I wanted to get into how Velma is like a ninja in the next scene. So Daphne states that she wants to see a real live ghost. And Velma just slightly, that's an oxymoron, Daph. Like, whoa, hold on there. That was like, okay, I see, little ninja. Next thing, Freddy has a thing for Lena. Like, boom, he's got the hots for her. Like, immediately, he's like, bam. Who Lena is played by none other than the talented and very beautiful Tara Strong, who at this point in time wasn't actually considered Tara Strong. Actually, I ended up finding out, like, if you watch towards the end of the movie, her name is not Tara Strong, but Tara Cherendoff, I think it's called pronounced. I wrote it down, Tara Cherendoff. Now that I found interesting. So did she change it to Strong? Was she married to Mr. Strong, or like was it like her stage name? Is Cherendoff her original name? So a lot of questions that pop up, and I would have to actually look that up here. Okay, so yeah, so apparently there was so I did some research, and apparently she did just get married to, well, not just, but she got married to a Craig Strong. So yes, her maiden name is Cherendoff. So this is when this is, the start of her career, because she was going by Cherendoff. But as we all know her already as Tara Strong, who does a lot of amazing voices, such as Raven from Teen Titans. She voices Buttercup from Powerpuff Girls. She voiced Harley Quinn in the Arkham series. She voiced as Timmy Turner. So much variety in her voice, and it was great to hear that Louisiana Southern accent that she had as well. Like she decided to pull out. So that was really great. We got to give it up to a legend, Tara Strong. How long have they had computers in the back of the mystery machine? Like, what the hell? I never noticed that. And like, I've seen this movie 1,000 times. Well, not really, but my point. But like, I've seen a lot of Scooby-Doo movies, and I've never noticed a computer in the back. And it's not just a small computer; like, it's a big computer. So I'm like, what in the hell? When did this happen? And it looks really old school, like if it was back from the 70s. Which I don't think that's when this movie took place. I think it took place at some point. I think it's supposed to take place in the 90s when it came out. But that sandwich dough. I'm gonna focus off of the computer for that sandwich dough. It's a big sandwich, and I low key kind of makes me hungry. I kind of want one of those sandwiches now. Then we get introduced to Jacques, who's a ferryman. Let's give it up to Jim Cummings, who voices Jacques. He also does a few other voices in this movie. He's more notorious for a lot of additional voices, but he also voices Pete from like those Mickey Mouse TV shows. I think he also voices as Pete in the Kingdom Hearts video game. I think he also voices Tigger and Winnie the Pooh and other of those shows, and also I believe also in Kingdom Hearts. So he is also really good, really great voice actor. He really gets that Creole accent down. So bravo Jim Cummings. Let's get into Scooby. The amount of times he has to say Rogue, where? It's like he refuses to believe himself as a dog, and I think that's great. He really does believe himself as people sometimes, or maybe he thinks of himself more than just a dog. So I think it's just funny how he just goes, "Rug, where?" And then you have Shaggy like, "Oh, Scooby's great with cats." Liar, lies, all lies, liar, liar, lies, lies, lies. Scooby is a dog. Dogs love chasing cats if they're not properly trained. I've seen a lot of dogs that work well with cats, so that. But Scooby's just seems like that. Always had that vibe. Like I feel like he would always chase a cat. So I thought that was funny. Just lie, big freaking lie. Mark Hamill, everyone, the legend, the myth. Not really myth because he really exists. Luke Skywalker himself, folks. Mark Hamill comes out in this movie as, I believe it's called Snakebite Scruggs is his name. Holy crap. We talk about Mark Hamill and it's crazy to think of how much, it's very subtle on how different he is. Like every once in a while, when you finally hear that it's Mark Hamill, you're like, it sounds like Joker. Or it sounds like him talking. And so when it's like Firelord Ozai, he is Firelord Ozai. And no one knew until finally they did a whole interview about it. And they're like, holy crap, he was really Firelord Ozai. And so he plays Snakebite Scruggs, and he has that pig mojo. And even hearing them just get him, Mojo, sounds very much like a very Louisiana style Joker. So we gotta give it up to the legend. He is such a great voice actor. I'm a huge fan of him. Cats everywhere. I know someone that has I feel like she would be like this. I know quite a bit of people that would probably, if they had a land like this, they would definitely have that many cats, and it's a little scary. And Scooby really needs to chill. But the cats really just say
Leave them alone.
Yeah, they did. And their laughs too. What is up with the laugh? And the sass, dude. The sass from Simone Lenoir. Let me just say, that is some sassiness. That's who brought this Doug? Rug? Where? Gotta love it. Those peppers, though. I know it seems like I'm kind of bouncing around, but yeah, dude. There was just so much in that scene. Just Scooby chasing after the cats, and then he runs into Miss Lenoir, and then of course, naturally, she's gonna have that sass. And when she finally warms up to the gang, boom. It's like she's like, okay, well now we can go ahead and continue this point. And they talk about the pepper fields, and you see those pepper plantations. Low key, kind of wanted some of those peppers. And the mess that Scooby created while chasing those cats, I think, he literally just destroyed plants, man. Can I hear vandalism? Anyone? No, just me. Okay, well, whatever. But I probably would be pissed too if I was that gardener, man. And I can't believe Lena and them were like, oh yeah, no, Gardner got it. Both got it. He could do it. Man, fuck you. I was like, dude, bro, I feel it. No. But yeah, great little funny scene right there. Scooby chasing after cats, and yeah. Dude, but I gotta ask though. We're going back to those. But how badly did some of you guys want those peppers? Low key, you just kind of wanted to test your strength. I wonder if they're really that hot, and if so, where can I get them? No, I wouldn't do that. Honestly, I'm too much of a chicken. I can't even handle the habanero stuff. So why am I gonna even try? But bro, when Shaggy and Scooby sit there and eat it, Shaggy straight up drank 5-gallon jug of water. Like it was a small cup. Well, not really small cup. It's not really small, but hey. But still, like nothing. That just shows, man, it's pretty impressive. Of course, they scream, so the whole team comes running over, trying to figure it out. Now it's kind of like a boy cries wolf type deal. So they scream again, and now, hit the glass, or hit the tin, and they scream again, and of course everyone's like, "Oh, great! Now what? Peppers again? Really? Chill on the peppers." Now we see some real ghost shit. That is awesome. I just think it's crazy though. It took time for that ghost to spell get out. But then when they start recording and all of a sudden they get back to it and boom, Beware's already there. He did that pretty quickly compared to how long it took him to write get out. So, I don't know. But this is how messed up I think Daphne is. She sees her best friend floating and all she cares about is yo, over here, and Fred's like, well, your friend's floating in thin air. What's going on? Oh, well, can we first focus on me and then we can get back to her? Can anyone help Velma down? Y'all some selfish assholes. I get it. You guys want to get the whole thing going, and yeah. Scooby, great catch. Seriously. Now that was a very interesting. When they start going through the camera footage, that's a very, very high-tech camera where they could sit there and sharpen the image and darken it and zoom in, and all of a sudden make a squiggly line turn into a weird-looking ghost. You see the Morgan Moose card, but what is that? What is going on with the arm? Is it an arm? Is it a sword? I don't know. Looks weird. Looks pointy. Looks gross. What is up with that arm? Bro. Seriously. Drawing team, do a little bit of better job. Because it looks like... Then you hear that growl. And someone's just like, what was that? Scooby and Shaggy, that's our stomachs. We gotta eat. We gotta eat. That just reminds me of you guys remember when you're in school and you're taking a test. It's quiet as hell in there. And you're taking a test, and all of a sudden you realize that you forgot to eat breakfast, and then all of a sudden your stomach decides to go, hey, I'm hungry, and you're just like, shh, dude, not now. It's super quiet. Try not to do anything. And it's like, hey, I'm hungry. Dude, shut up. We eat in a couple hours. And then from there, it just does that loud ass growl. And all eyes are on you, and you're just like, no. No one heard that, please. God, no one heard that. Yeah. That's exactly how loud that growl was. And I thought that was pretty funny. And definitely brought some scary memories for me. That sandwich, though. Again, that sandwich, though. Can we talk about Velma vandalizing a kitchen? Bro, overboard. I get that you're a detective, you want to figure it out, but at least ask the lady, hey, can we see what's behind here? Is there a way we can not fully destroy your wall, but destroy your wall so I can see the Maelstrom sign of what apparently I guess was the name of the ship that Morgan Lone Star was using. So, hey, if it's to help you further investigate, destroy the crap out of any event, of any wall that you see fit. That might be the answer to a ghost solving problem. Can we say vandalism? No, just me. Okay. All right, so. I wrote Freddy could have been onto something about, maybe, going back to the whole idea of the original Scooby-Doo lore, bad guy in a mask. Now, apparently there was treasure on the island, so naturally, you just gotta assume maybe someone's trying to scare Simone and Lena off the island, so that way they can get the treasure. So, we go further into it, and there's Shaggy and Scooby eating those damn peppers again. They must be really good. And the chase begins. He is just going after those cats, and he gets stuck, and the cats laugh. And it's like a hee hee, like it's a hee hee hee, like it's almost like the Nelson kid from Simpsons, that hee hee type deal. Love the accordion nose. The accordion nose is great. And there's a Shaggy just trying to chase up after him. He's like, but wait, let me get some peppers. Cue selfie song. Then, unfortunately, Scooby does a mistake of scaring off the catfish, Big Mona, as Mark Hamill's character calls it. Big Mona. You scare Big Mona away. Get him, Mojo. Great. Now we're being chased down by a pig. Or as Shaggy said, we got chased down by 1/3 of a BLT. Bruh. Bruh. 1/3 of a BLT. That is great. It's messed up, but it's great. Sorry, PETA, but this happens. I had to agree very, very firmly. But it did beg the question, where the hell and why the hell is there a big hole? Like it looks like it could fit 10 elephants. They're trying to trap it's like they're trying to trap the Loch Ness monster or something. You don't want no tree fitty. Or at least we don't have no tree fitty. I had mentioned earlier at the beginning of the podcast, I had mentioned this is where it breaks the spectrum. This is where it really gets interesting. So now we're going to go into, holy crap. When you're a kid and you're seeing this, you're you're kind of freaked out. You're like, oh my god, there's a skeletal bones being reincarnated into an actual zombie. Like, there's no man in a mask behind that. That's a real zombie. So that was like, bro, what the hell? And those eyes, man, just red. And also give it up for Jim Cummings, because he also does the whole Mogan Mooseguard talk thing. Trying to sound like Ozzy Osbourne, I guess. I don't know. So yeah, and so they found a way to get out of that hole, and then they go running. And I love, they bump into the gardener, and then Scooby's trying to explain. He starts imitating how the zombie is. That was funny. The walk, the whole 9 yards is great stuff. You gotta love that whole part. Daphne's eyes on the gardener, though. She got some major hard eyes. All those hearts. She's like seeing them for that gardener, and you're like, Freddy, little bit jelly. All right, okay. But he was trying to go after Lena at the same time, so oh well. What's it called? The house is really nice, though. It is really, really nice. Kind of wish I had that kind of house. You know what I'm saying? That's great stuff. I love it though when Shaggy's like we do, and they're like, oh, we can't leave. The fairy doesn't leave at night, and they were just like we do. Haul ass. No, dude, come on, Shaggy, come on, Scooby. Let's stay the night. We're gonna be inside a house. But I just find it funny though, they go back to the house. Lena's over here giving everyone their rooms, and like I said, really nice house, really nice rooms. And I think at the end, freaking Lena's just says, "Screw you, Daphne." She's just like, the amount of shade, the cold shoulder towards Daphne, like, bruh. Like you can see, like Lena's like, dude, I'm gonna get your boy though. I'm gonna get your boy. So I found that funny. Scooby trying to imitate it now. Does the whole eyes wide, roo, roo. Dude, head's been turning heads, bro. Turning heads. I feel like that should be a great, whoever's trying to start a band, definitely call yourselves Turning Heads, because apparently that's a thing for Scooby Doo. So Shaggy sits there and tries to trim up, look nice for dinner. You don't see no trimming. You just see this and no trimming of the goatee. I'm just like, what did you trim? It looks like you just trimmed the air, bro. Maybe live action probably would have captured that a little bit better. Maybe I could get rid of that. Nah, I'm keeping this. Hopes that it gets even longer. So maybe as the podcast progresses, we see how long my goatee gets. Ghost. Bruh. Civil War Ghost just comes out of nowhere and just tells them, get away. Love it. And obviously chases Scooby-Doo and Shaggy out of the room. And then we see the ascot. We see it's back. Fred finally brings back the ascot, but then decides, nah. Bro, no. It is the signature look. What's it called? Simone calls Scooby a beast, bro. Oh, man. Poor Scooby. Well, at least you're not being called a dog. Your response would be, bro, weird. So we see Shaggy and Scooby tell the gang that they saw another ghost. I never noticed this. The amount of times I've seen this movie, again, I love watching the movie and I love not noticing something when finally until after I'm like really trying to pay attention. I never noticed that Shaggy and Scooby actually walk into the room with their eyes closed. I just thought that they were just kind of hidden behind. Like I never knew that Shaggy's covering his eyes, and you can kind of see Scooby's eyes close as he's walking forward. So that was really funny. Like I'm like, wow, how did I miss that? Funny moment here. I put an LOL next to it. Scooby cleaning Velma's glasses with his tail. All right, like why? I guess it works. I'm gonna have one of my family members who wears glasses and use my dog's tail to see if it works cleaning their glasses. If it does, hey, Scooby was onto something. But it did beg the question because when Velma starts reading this dusty, plaque on the back of the mirror, like, why do they have so much historical artifacts in that house? Like, are they low key a museum? Have they been collecting this stuff? Why would they collect a Civil War mirror? How did they get this? What? Many questions in my head that runs through my head, and probably not the questions I should be asking, but I'm gonna ask them anyways. Bruh. Again, I can't stress enough, and I know we've seen a lot of YouTube videos where they recreate food from TV shows and movies and animes and stuff like that. I feel like someone needs to recreate this food. I mean, that gumbo, the what's it called? What did they end up getting? Oh yeah, the crawfish, those biscuits. Like, those biscuits look pretty damn good. And they looked a lot better than some of the biscuits that we see nowadays. Like, it didn't look no Popeyes biscuits. Although those are slightly decent, I don't mind Popeyes biscuits. I love their chicken, but that's besides the point. But those biscuits look good. And again, chill, Scoob. They obviously, Miss Lenoir tells Scooby that they can't have a dog on the table, so go to the kitchen. And of course, naturally, who else eats in the kitchen but the cats? And then poor Shaggy can't hold back Scooby. Bruh, it's time to pump some iron, bro. You gotta control that dog. Scooby just chases those damn cats out the kitchen. Like, bro, Seriously. Chill, Scoob, chill. Um, they come out of the kitchen, and I don't recall them even going near the cat food. So how do they get cat food all over them? Seriously, director, creator, writers, anyone, if you guys can hear me, what the hell are you thinking? I like, it's funny, but seriously, where and how? The crawfish, bro. Like, Scoob, I can't stress enough. Chill, bro, chill. Like, he is low key ninja though. He literally steals those freaking, you know, Shaggy's over here gets this like big piece of meat from the crawfish, and then next you know, just pulls the old switcheroo like, hey, tap here, like what the hell, and then it's like, what the hell? I thought this was more meat, and then he Scoob just straight up machine gun mouth. All right, he just fires those freaking crawfish out like nothing. It was great stuff, and of course, just like here, have a biscuit, Scoob, and whole plate down the gullet like an abyss. Oh my God, Scoob, this is great comedy stuff. This is great, cartoon. This is the best. You definitely get that cartoonish vibe. But again, fucking cats everywhere. And it doesn't help when they're staring at them while they're trying to eat. So naturally, Shaggy ends up driving off with Scooby, trying to find a more quiet place. And now, this is where that peak of the movie really gets, interesting. So naturally, you have Fred, Velma, Daphne still at the dinner table with Lena and Miss Simone, and they're over here thinking that maybe Bo's the bad guy, the gardener. Could be. They just said that he just showed up like 3 months before, or a few months before, the mystery gang came by. So maybe this all really is an elaborate scheme. So I thought it was funny how gotta go back to those peppers, man. And the freaking smoke out of the ears, the fire out of the ears, freaking Scooby turning around and was like, plays with Shaggy, like, bro, you're such a wimp. And it's like, wait, why aren't you dying? Because I didn't eat it yet. Oh, you chicken. Oh, that did. He was like, fine, I'll eat it. And then just freaking smoke and fire, bro. Gross. Yeah, run to dude. That's how I am sometimes with some of these chilies. Like, I'm like, oh crap, my aunt makes some great salsa, dude. And I gotta tell you, sometimes I feel she gets mad when she makes salsa. That shit's hot. That's some hot salsa. I'm like, smoke coming out of my ears. Love it. Then we get to, you see the green crap coming down again. The green light that first made Morgan Moonscar can't come back from the dead. Just go straight into the earth, and now you're seeing all these zombies everywhere. Dude, I would freak out. I'd probably be exactly like Shaggy and Scooby, just running. Everyone sits there and says, let me tell you this. Everyone sits there and tries to say, oh, I'm so ready for a zombie. No, you're not ready for a zombie apocalypse yet. Because the first thing you're going to do is when you realize that the dead have come back to life to eat us, you're going to freak out first. I love how everyone turns around and says, oh, I will do this. I'm going to end up doing this first. I have this set aside. I'm going to go do this. And then I'm going to go start killing those zombies. No, the first thing you're going to do is you're going to freak the hell out. Because it's real zombies coming after us now. You could sit there and play all the, Call of Duty zombies that you want. All the Last of Us, games you want. I don't care what kind of person you are. You could be the baddest mofo in the world, but the moment you start seeing the dead come back to life, you are shitting your pants. Alright? You are going to lose your mind. I know I am. Like, I have my zombie apocalypse thing set aside. But when it all comes down to it first, if I actually saw the dead come to life, I am flipping the hell out. And there'd probably be a Shaggy Scooby moment. I'd try to get the hell out of there as quickly as possible. I'm freaking the hell out. And yeah, so it's intense. All these zombies just came came alive, and they're surrounding them, and they just took off. And so naturally their screams can be heard all the way to the house, so they're just like, man, not again. But when they actually start searching for them and they realize, like, okay, low-key creepy, but we gotta find these guys, they bump into the gardener, Bo, and sure enough, Velma obviously doesn't trust the gardener, as neither does Fred. I think it's funny, it's like, hey, let's split up. Daphne, I'll go with Bo. Bad idea. Fred's just like, no, please don't. No, don't go with him. Everyone was like, don't worry, Fred, I got you. I got you. I got you. I got you, bro. Is essentially what she's saying. Like, I'm not going to let him out of my sight, but low-key, so you can talk to Daphne, because y'all need to figure this stuff out. Whatever y'all two are, doing, y'all need to figure that out. And so that's exactly what happens here. So, but Velma low-key actually really was like, dude, I don't trust this guy. He, like, every time he appears, something happens, and, like, whatever the Scooby and Shaggy are saying ends up being gone. So, makes sense. Then we get into Fred and Daphne actually finding the mystery machine. And they open it up, and all this shit just comes coming out, and they're like, oh my god, what is it? It's the crawfish. It's the lunch. And they're like, really? Okay, well, Scooby and Shaggy are not around. That's probably bad, because their food is here, but they're not. That's how you know it's a bad situation. So, next thing you know, Daphne decides to pull out her karate skills, and just like, yeah! Really classic, yeah. Really? You gotta give it up to karate, because they gotta do that yell. And so, which in this case was very unnecessary, but why not? Let's throw in a "aya" over there. Literally in Spanish, "aya" means over there, so I find it even hilarious. And then you see Scooby and Shaggy finally come back. And then they're like, yo, it's just a man in a mask. They see the zombie, and they're like, oh, it's just an animatronic, or it's just mask, or a man in a mask. And then Daphne's like trying to pull the mask off. It's like, it's real. Feels real. It's one good costume, Fred. Yeah, Fred. It's a great costume, Fred. Find me the person that does that and have them do my Halloween costume, because that would be great to, be that lifelike of, zombie-like. He pulls the freaking head off, and they play hot potato. Straight up. Like, now, this is way beyond creepy. Now the zombies are coming after them. Bruh, they are being chased by real zombies. While Velma and the gardener are just chilling, walking. Apparently there was a quicksand moment, because like Bo picks up a rock, throws it over Velma's head, and says, hey, there's quicksand right there. Couldn't have just said, oh, go around. You gotta pick up a rock and almost threaten to kill Velma to say, hey, oh, sounds like it's raining. Almost killing Velma to just prove a point that there is quicksand. Bruh, get your act together. You could have just said, let's go around, because I think this is where quicksand is at. And then Daphne, who wanted this real life monster, real life zombies, real life ghosts, yes, I did say the oxymoron, ends up losing her evidence. Like, they trip, like if it's like some sort of 1990s scary movie where the fall and trip over nothing, or I think they actually tripped over a twig, and or it was like a tree root, and they lose the camera in quicksand. How like unlucky do you have to be in order for that to happen? So then again, we get back into the soundtrack. God, this is the song that you listen to. This is this soundtrack. I can't stress enough. This is a soundtrack that you'll listen to when you're working out, when you're just chilling, when you're vibing, when you're trying to make love to your girl, whatever the case may be. This soundtrack is great, and screw anyone that says anyone any otherwise. It's definitely my top soundtrack in like in any movie. Granted, it's just the two songs. Like, yeah, you get the little melody songs here and there throughout the movie, but it's those two main songs because they're the only ones with words. But they hit hard, and I can't stress that enough. And so you go into the whole chase scene where it's just all these zombies are chasing after everyone while Velma and Bo are just chilling, and then finally, boom, everyone bumps in together. And so, now everyone's kind of like trying to figure out, okay, we lost Shaggy and Scooby again. We found them, but then we lost them. Where the hell did they go? I really don't see where they went until after later on when they find. Oh no, they get trapped in a cave and they see the dolls, the voodoo dolls, guys. That screams Louisiana history, all on its own. Like, I don't know who's all from Louisiana, but you guys gotta comment and let me know if you guys are from Louisiana. How many stores actually have voodoo dolls? And like, is that really a huge thing there in Louisiana? I think it's more in New Orleans. I might be wrong. I'm pretty sure though it's more of a New Orleans thing than it is of all Louisiana. But if it's more throughout Louisiana, because I feel like there's a lot of shows that mention Louisiana, and it always has something to do with voodoo. If I do my history, I'm sure I'll be able to find out more information, but definitely something that I gotta know. Like, is this like stuff for real? So, magic wax dolls. That's exactly what they are, and now it explains the whole levitation thing with Velma. Like, okay, cool, but who the hell made them? Could it have been Bo? Is there someone else on the island? Who knows? Well, we do, but it's good to have that fun. And then finally they hear the scream coming from the house, and it turns out to be Lena's scream. And then the lights are out. They get back to the house, and the lights are out. And then all of a sudden it's like low-key creepy. Alright. And then secret tunnel. Secret tunnel. Secret tunnel. No, I don't mean the one from Avatar: The Last Airbender. Granted, yes, love the episode. It's now a huge TikTok thing. I remember just a couple weeks ago or just last week, I was at my uncle's house and my cousins were low-key actually singing the Secret Tunnel song. Not that Secret Tunnel. Apparently it's some sort of Civil War tunnel that the Confederates used or whatnot. I don't know. More historic mumbo jumbo. Kidding, guys. I love history. History's such a great thing. Love history. In fact, one of these days we'll talk about the Patriot. No, so I had to give props to Lena. That was the most cheesiest stop story in my world that I've ever heard. And Velma, already you could see on Velma's face, like, that story's a load of bullcrap. Come on, be real. Like, we'll play your game. Fine. You say she got dragged? Cool. Let's follow these footsteps that clearly someone actually walked. There's no scuff marks anywhere. Let's follow these. And so they get to this whole secret room, and then you find out, oh, the bad guys were the hosts all along. Wow. Why do you need to scare people away from the treasure if the treasure's already yours? Plot twist! Oh no, we're not trying to scare people away. We're trying to kill them. Bruh. What? These things turn into cat creatures. Fuck. This is where I say this movie really breaks the spectrum of the idea of man, bad guy in mask. Because it's bad guy turns into were-panther thing, cat creature thing. And it drains the life force out of... They drain the life force out of humans. So it's like, oh, lure their asses here. Go, Lena, go get some people so we can eat every month. What in the hell is going on here? Now you can see why kids would be like, dude, this is low-key kind of scary. Like, where's the bad guy in a mask? Because they just turn into cats. Like, panther cats type deal. And then you see Scooby and Shaggy, and they make their way to the ferry. And the freaking ferryman's a cat creature, too. He looks like a tiger, though. He didn't look like a panther. He looked more like a tiger. Like a tiger.
Toit like a tiger.
Rawr. Sorry. I'm a little tired. But yeah, so they chases them all the way to the house, and then all of a sudden it's like the zombies start piling on to Jacques, and you hear his rawr. And so freaking someone's like, oh, who cares about him right now? We need to eat. Like, we got to get these, the life force from these guys. We got to turn them into these zombies. You find out that and then it's a great backstory. Well, you guys got to watch the movie. Obviously, I'm going to have you guys watch the movie. But pretty much, short summary, they've been around for 200 years. Y'all motherfuckers old. But if I could find the clip, I'll put that whole, but you're so old. I'll probably actually do that right now.
But you're so old.
There. Like that. What the hell? So they've been around since settlement. And then Maureen Moonscar comes into the island and pretty much kills off their entire village, like, clan type deal. Sends them into the waters where all the freaking alligators are, and the alligators eat them, essentially. And it's like, okay, let's pray to the cat guardian god thing. I'm pretty sure in Egyptian that's Bast. I could be wrong, but I'm probably not. Either way. So that means if I pray to God hard enough for superpowers, I can get them? Meh. Probably wouldn't work out for the best for any of us. And so they go on a killing spree. And then from that point on, for the next 200 years, they are literally killing people left and right. In what Scooby-Doo universe has there been killings? What in the world? This is where things get so dark. And I love it. As a kid, you realize, man, this is really dark. Like, it's kind of spooky. As an adult, or as you get older, you're like, dude, this is intense. That is nuts. That is why this movie's still so great. But of course, bad guy doesn't win in the end. It's, Mystery Gang finds a way to go ahead and beat the bad guy. From being tied up as voodoo dolls to where they couldn't move, to Shaggy and Scooby kind of saving the day yet again, and just stalling enough time because apparently they have to drain the life force from humans before or at midnight, and then anytime after midnight it's like boom. And it's crazy that they went from cat looking creatures to straight up freaking hairy monsters. You're like, what? Like, it was like Frieza saying, you fool, this is not even my final form yet. What the hell? And I was like, dude, yeah. That is nuts. You gotta give props and you gotta give credit where credit is due, especially with this movie. And so at the end, they don't end up draining the life force from the mystery gang, and once again, they save the day. And oh, plot twist, Gardner was really a cop. I never knew you were a co-op. Did you know he was a co-op? I didn't know he was a co-op. Sorry. The Departed. Another one of those movies that we'll look into in the future. You gotta give it to the Boston accent. But anyways, folks, that is the end of the movie. All that, all this time of talking, I was really hoping to actually have someone on this podcast with me. But I think for this very first episode and how near and dear this movie is to me, growing up, watching this movie, and just loving it every single moment. Every time I watched it, I couldn't get enough of it. And I still have it, like in VHS is when I was watching it. Like VHS, and for a lot of you kids that don't know what a VHS is, look up VCR. A VHS is a tape. Alright, this was way before your Blu-ray movies. This was way before your DVDs. It was a tape, it was a cassette. You put it into this thing called a VCR, and from there, it was one of those things where, like, once you finish the movie, you have to press rewind so you can make sure it goes back to the beginning. It's not like this, this whole technology thing that we have now. I know I say it like I'm old, and I'm really not. I'm only 24, but I still know a lot of this old stuff technology. And so, I used to watch this on VHS, and I'm so happy that I could still find a way to watch it and enjoy every single moment of it. I believe that you guys should also watch this movie in its entirety. I pretty much just hit almost every point in the movie, but there's still a lot that you need to watch on your own. Give it some, give the time to see if you can find it, watch it, enjoy what it felt like to be a kid watching this movie. Enjoy the soundtrack. I can't stress that soundtrack. All in all, I give this movie a straight 10 out of 10. If I were to do ratings with every TV show, every season, or any book, I would have to say, with starting with this one, it is a straight 10 out of 10. Definitely worth watching. Definitely worth having other people watch it. It's one of those movies where you can enjoy during the Halloween time, and you still get that little funny spook that everyone enjoys. And so that wraps up that movie, guys. I want to go away with this. At the end of every episode of my podcast, I'm doing a little bit of talking about the entirety of whatever movie we talk about. And in this case, the voice actors on this movie, you have so many greats. Mark Hamill, Tara Strong, you have Jim Cummings, you have Billy West. I'm sorry about that, guys. Someone tried to hit me up on Messenger. But yeah, you had Frank Welker. You had all these great voice actors, and it just it's inspiring in a bit. Like, it'll be great to think, like, man, how they started off. Each one started off, like, you see that this movie was a start for Tara Strong. Like, it was like, I believe it's stated in 2004 is when Tara Strong got married. So this is before that point. So you gotta think how much of an impact she made as well. Known as, with her original name as Tara Cherendorf. I'm sorry if I screw that up. But you just, it's such a great movie, guys. And, you see how, just how much these voice actors have always been a part of our lives for a very, very long time. Mark Hamill has been around with the whole Joker and everything like that, and Tara Strong being around for as long as she has. Jim Cummings, these are all major 90s actors and voice actors, and it's great to see that they will always be a part of, our childhood. And I greatly appreciate how, they did, they still voice some of the great things that we enjoy to this very day. I hope to one day be something of that nature. You guys heard a little bit of my impressions here and there. As I get more comfortable and as we go further into the podcast time frames in the future, you'll be hearing more of that. And I think it'll be a great fun addition. Hopefully next week we can invite one of my closest friends in the whole world. He is a buddy of mine that I know him from high school, and I hope that he can enjoy our next week's podcast. We'll figure out what to do from there. Please like and subscribe if you can. Comment down below here. And guys, just keep, just stay real, guys. Take care.